the stream going here as I finish getting everything all set up here. Let's see here. What else do we need to load up here? Need our map open. That going. Need our other map going. Just in case. There we go. Alrighty, let's see. That going. There. Alrighty. Gets pretty much everything in order and good to go here. Sweet. Alright. I guess there's one other thing that I need to get down ready to go here. Because we're starting a new set of rooms today, which means I'm going to need some dice so we can randomly assign a few things to go into a few places. So, get that all situated. Which means we have to make the important decision today about which dice set I'm using. Need to figure that one out. Usually I just end up randomly grabbing one and then find all the matching ones out of my dice bag, you know. And it's been a winning approach so far, so I don't see any reason to change it. Alright, let's see. Let's grab this one. What's this one? Ooh, we're going to use the Cthulhu dice that I have. Hold on, let me try and get it in front of the camera here. Yeah, look at these things. These things are sweet. I love these dice. Alright. Let's see here. So we're going to use the Cthulhus. Pull all of them out here. All the ones that I need anyway. There we go. Yeah, I love these things. These are sweet dice. It's one of the first set of dice I ever got. First set of dice I ever got because the first tabletop RPG I ever played was Call of Cthulhu. So I got the dice to match it when we were playing, and never have I regretted it. They're super awesome dice. I mean, just the patterning is so cool. They're a little smaller than I'd like, but hey, that kept them affordable when I first bought them, so not too much to complain about if I'm being perfectly honest here. Let's see here. Alright, what are we at here? It's been about 3 minutes. We'll give it just a couple more minutes for people to trickle in if they so please before we really get started in earnest. But I'm stoked to be here doing a little bit of writing here and then a little bit of gaming in a little bit. A lot of use of the word little there. Wonder if I can throw it in a little more times. No, it doesn't work. Doesn't work. I already maximized it. That's the end of it. Flew too close to the sun. Tried to get even more out of it, but alas. But at any rate, I don't even remember what I was saying. That's a good start, isn't it? Oh, boy. Nah, it'll be good. It'll be good. It's a nice Friday. I am feeling really good today, personally. I don't know where everyone else's head is at, but I'm in a good place today, personally. Had a pretty good week. Have a nice weekend coming up here, leading into a short week, heading into the Thanksgiving week, which is always, for me and my family, Thanksgiving is a really good one. We get together, eat some good food, and then the most important part is, like, Thursday is really just the beginning of it for Thanksgiving. We have Thanksgiving dinner. And then Friday is, of course, us just all sort of chilling out, relaxing, you know, enjoying the food coma hangover from Thanksgiving itself with some leftover turkey sandwiches and all that good stuff. And then Friday is, for us, the really big one. We'll go out. That's when we do it, or not Friday, Saturday. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We go out, we do our Christmas tree hunting, get ourselves a good Christmas tree, spend all day. We'll do that in the morning after we have a big family breakfast, right? Do a big breakfast this year. We're going to do it all home cooked rather than going out somewhere. So we're doing a big breakfast, go out, get a tree, and then spend the day decorating at just my parents' place. I mean, I don't live there anymore, so it's not like I get to keep the decorations, but spend the day decorating, and then at the end of the day, my dad always cooks a nice big old pot of homemade chili, and so we'll do that and watch a Christmas movie of some sort to kick off the holiday season, and that's our family tradition, and I am all about it this year. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time, and I'm excited that it is that time of year again for me. So, anywho, with all that blabbering done, let's go ahead and get ourselves into some writing. So let's throw ourselves into our screen here. So last time we finished up our second set of hold on, I just gotta get my mic in a good position. This mic, I think the mic is dying, to be perfectly honest. It seems to keep getting quieter and quieter. I need to just take the plunge and buy myself an actual microphone is what I need to do. Which, we'll see. I gotta get through all my Christmas shopping and see where the budget is after that. But at any rate, okay, it looks like it's doing okay. It looks like it's at least in comparison to the rest of the noise that's there keeping up. So, just crank the volume and hopefully it'll be fine. Real professional of me, right? Alright, anywho. We finished off our second set of rooms for this dungeon. We're working on this dungeon, this super oppressive, tedious, intentionally tedious and monotonous dungeon. It's kind of the whole goal of this one. And so we finished this is our first section here, right, where it's like some of these rooms are unlocked, and players can have access to them, and they eventually get to this section 2 here. And we finished up section 2, and then they get the key that they can find there, go back to section 1, that unlocks these rooms and gets them up to section 3 there. So now we are on to section 3. So, let's see, let's get back to our notes page. As always, we need to go ahead and, let's see, what is that? That's section 2. That's why it's all filled out. Okay, so now we got to go to section 3. And first we got to distribute things into all of the rooms. So, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 rooms, as I always do. I've been messing around a little bit with sort of the formula that I use in terms of what things are apparent and accessible in each room. I'm always trying to be attentive to, what I'm writing, why I'm doing it, whether or not I like what's being produced, whether or not my players like what's being produced, all that kind of stuff. I'm always trying to do that, and I'm always ready to make changes as needed. So one of the things that I've been kind of looking into, and one of the changes that I'm making is that I have been, like, I've got in here this system where there's like keys and boss keys and all that kind of stuff, and the way I've been designing dungeons lately, I've been getting more and more into having keys sort of be an auxiliary thing rather than a necessary thing. And so kind of like with this dungeon where they have to get certain keys to unlock different parts of different sections of the thing, so that way there's a certain sort of prescribed backtracking involved in this dungeon, and that's the whole point of it. And so, but doing it that way kind of flies in the face of the standard array of having keys always be present or never present or whatever. So instead of doing that, I'm kind of adjusting the system a bit so that there are no keys as a necessary component, right, as the rewards. Those are just additional rewards that are put on top of it. And instead, I'm doubling up on how much money players find, how many potions they find, and then I'm adding in a new thing, which is lore items. And those are just items, because the way I design all my dungeons within this world is pretty much everything, not always everything, but for the most part everything is some sort of abandoned ancient thing, like ancient civilization type of situation. And so what I've started doing is adding in just lore about the dungeon that they're in as an opportunity for them to maybe learn a little bit about the history of the dungeon and maybe tie that into some of the different puzzles and traps and thematic elements that they'll find. We started kind of doing that with this one, where we've thrown in Um, Different notes like players can find a journal of a dwarf that was traveling who died in this abandoned dwarven tunnel, things like that. Um, and so I'm trying to add a bit more of that, just to add a bit more flavor and uniqueness. And lore is a really loose term that I'm using there that could include, maybe some sort of NPC that they encounter or something like that. It's a very loose term, but it's a term to basically just remind myself and describe some rewards as being basic, just basically scene setting things to make the dungeon feel more alive and give just the players a bit more to interact with within the dungeon. And it's kind of an exciting idea for me because I've shown off the amount of, you can see with all my tabs here, the amount of backstory and hidden stuff that I put into this world building, because I approach this from a world building standpoint first rather than a D&D module building standpoint. For me, the lore is a really important thing in terms of informing how I write, and so the concept of finding a way and a reason to make that more accessible to my players is something that's exciting to me. So it makes me passionate about it, and the thing that I've learned about it is the more passion I have for what I'm writing, the better it will be. Like, there's just a natural appeal that comes into these games that I make when it's something that I'm really excited and care about, which is why I believe that I consistently get better feedback from my players about my homebrew stuff than when I'm running a module, because even if I love modules and what they have to offer, there's not that same excitement and passion that comes in from something that I've created myself. So it's good. It's a good thing. It takes a little bit more work for me to think about how to fold it in a way that makes sense and in a way that's engaging for the players, but that's a fun part of the challenge for me, and it makes the dungeons feel a bit more alive, so that even a monotonous thing like this sort of tunnel maze, this labyrinth that I'm working on here, ends up being something that's a bit more lifelike than just go to room, fight monster, take gold, go to next room, right? Like, that obviously is a little much even when you're trying to make things monotonous. So at any rate, thanks for coming to my TED Talk and all that. Let's go ahead and actually do it, eh? So we need to just randomly distribute these. I have, because I spend so much time writing these between this that I'm doing on stream and then the other campaign that I'm writing for my friends, my players that I actually play with, so that way I don't have to worry about them accidentally finding out secrets about this campaign as we're writing it. I have made a sheet of all of the random dangers and rewards that they can find, so that way I just have a whole bunch of uses that I can just like check them off, and then when it's done I'll make another one, rather than having to rewrite out all of the things that I need to put into a dungeon every single time I'm doing a new floor. So I've got that. We're going to go ahead and roll for things, so it's just going to be rolling. I think it'd be really fun to one day get like a notes cam, right? Like a top-down cam that's like over the stuff that I have over here, so you can see, all my notepads and stuff like that. It'd be fun for gaming and for writing, but alas, I don't have money for another camera. And if I did, it would be spent on a mic first, so. Okay, so this first one is, this room one is going to have an easy battle in it. So we'll do that. As far as the reward goes, it will have, what is that? That's a 9. And that'll have a lore item in it. Second room, that's going to be, that's gonna be the one where we hide the boss battle, apparently, which is fine actually. I don't mind randomly adjusting that one. I might adjust things around too. That's the other thing about doing it randomly. I always reserve the right to readjust things if I feel it necessary. Okay. But that one is going to have money as the key, or money as the reward, as well as we're going to do section 4 key. Because that's the boss is guarding the key. I mean, obviously, it's a little game mechanic-y to do it that way, but we are playing a game, so I don't balk at that too much personally. I know some people like to really disguise the fact that you're playing a game with their D&D, and that's perfectly fine. I think there's a lot of validity to that because it is a role-playing experience. So if you really want it to feel more role-play, more like you're immersed in it, then that's a really important thing to do. The reward here is going to be potions. There we go. Yeah, so it's like if that's what you're really looking for to sort of mask the fact that you are playing a game, then you wouldn't really want to necessarily do it the way I'm doing it. But that's kind of the beauty of homebrew D&D, isn't it? That you can really just do whatever fits you as the DM and your group as players. That's an empty. Oops. Wow. A safe and empty room. They're just gonna walk in here and literally nothing happens. That's gonna really mess with their heads, actually. Now that I think about it, if there's nothing attacking them and nothing to find, that is gonna screw with them so hard. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right. I love stuff like that. I think it's so much fun when that's just a hard battle. I think it's so much fun when you can just sort of use some simple psychology to mess with your players. It's so because it's so much easier to do than you would think. To just sort of throw in something basic and innocuous that will just completely toy with them. Like the number of times that I've accidentally messed with my players' heads without even trying, just because of the way things pan out and how suspicious they always inevitably become, is absolutely amazing. Alright, so we got a medium battle going on there. And then for the reward here, I'll have some money. Go. Let's see here. So that'll be, this room's gonna have a trap in it. And then just gotta get that turned off there. Alright, let's see here, and then we need to get, what is that? Oh, this room is gonna be the one with the map in it. That's actually convenient. I'm pretty sure they're walking into room 7. So it'll be trapped, but if they can survive the trap, they'll get a map out of it. And that's neat. I'm sure they'll like that. Let's see. This room will be a puzzle room. And then it'll have potions. This one will have a medium battle in it. And then for our reward, it's going to be the compass. Perfect. I've also kind of readjusted how I'm doing the compass within my games. And it's, again, a very game mechanic approach. And I'll describe it when I get to it. So we might not get to it today. But it's a new way that just makes it a bit easier for me. Makes it a little bit easier for me to not have to ham-fist something that doesn't really fit. But we'll talk about that when we get there. No sense jumping ahead because we're going to get to it eventually. Okay, so now we know what's going in each room. We do need to get all of our fundamental basics and stuff figured out here. So one thing I'm going to do, just to save myself a little bit of time, for our long rest risks, I copy that, and then just paste that in there because I've already just gone through the trouble of reorganizing things as needed here. And then just because it's always goofy and it messes up the indenting for some reason. I can never really figure out why. OneNote has some idiosyncrasies, and as much as I love using OneNote, it does kind of act goofy sometimes. So 12 and then 14 up there. Alright, so the XP, we already mathed that out when we were doing the really basics. The really basics of this dungeon here. Let's see, that's section. I'm confused. Hold on, that's section 1, and then there's section 2. Oh, I see what I did. Because I didn't put in. I don't know why I didn't put in the actual enemy sheets like I usually do there. Oh, I guess I did. They're up above. Did I just put them in the... Oh, I didn't put them in the wrong section. I just didn't do them. All right, well, we'll have to add that in there. We'll go ahead and backtrack real quick and do that. But first, while I'm thinking about it, we do need our XP breakdown for section 3. So that'll go right here. And actually, we can just do that. Actually, you know what we're going to do? Here, we're going to undo. Leave that there, but then just that one line, take that off, and we can do that, and that looks good. Okay, so for our enemies here, we need to get those figured out. Yeah, these ones, I didn't put in all of the detailed notes about the enemies like I normally do. Which I'm going to take a second. I'm actually going to go ahead and do that really quickly because that's actually, for me, that's an important component of it, is making sure I have all the stat blocks and sort of the basics of how I want any given enemy here to behave in combat. I want that pre-planned out so I don't forget stuff. So combatant notes. And so here's where we can... Let's see. So we have reduced threat gray ooze. So we have these guys, and so one thing we can do just to save ourselves a little bit of effort, we can copy that picture. Where am I? Where does it need to go? Wait, no, I was doing it right first time. There it is. So yeah, if we've got a reduced threat gray ooze, and then let's say no, that's not what I wanted to have happen. No, go back, undo. That's what we need to do. I guess there we go. I guess I'll just have to do it that way. Kind of just want to bring everything over there. The big pictures kind of mess with my sense of aestheticism right there. Trying to get the aesthetics of it looking nice. It kind of messes with me a little bit. I don't really like it that way, but that's fine. And so the good news here is we already have our reduced threat gray oozes. We can just copy that stuff and put it in there. Just to do some simple notes. So we got our reduced threat gray ooze. Shadows are that way as well, or not that well. They're like as in already have notes about them kind of written out, so we can do that. And we'll just bring it over, and then there we go. And we can, with the shadows as well, just go up here and copy our notes. Copy that, paste it in there. There we go, and then let's see here. So if we got that, and then I know with the boneless, there's a limitation because I don't have a digital copy of the books that have the boneless enemies in it, so I'll have to get that at some point in time for my own personal use, but needless, we can put that in here. So we'll just do boneless placeholder there. So that'll eventually need to go in there. And then the boss was our slithering tracker. I know I do have access to that one, so we can come over here. Slithering tracker. There it is. Let's see here. That format is a little weird, though, actually. Just the shape of the box, so it's going to make... It's going to bother me if they're all different shapes and sizes. I can't handle it. Slithering tracker. Just search for it there. There we go. See how it's wide? It's like wider. It's wider and more stout. I need it that way. Hold on. There it is. Take a screenshot. That's what I'm trying to do here. Boom. Oh, no. What happened? There we go. Copy that. go back into here. Paste that, slithering tracker. I gotta decide exactly how this thing will work. Let's see, well, underwater, not, let's see, I gotta look at all of its abilities here and figure out how it's best gonna use these. First round of a combat, the slithering tracker has advantage on attack rolls against any creature it's surprised. I don't know that that's going to be relevant the way I have it written. Damage transfer while grappling a creature. Slithering tracker takes only half the damage dealt to it. Alright. Grappling takes the other half. So grappling will be an important thing for it. False appearance while slithering tracker remains motionless. It is indistinguishable from a puddle. Alright, again, that's not going to be really relevant. Tracker, not relevant. Liquid form. Can enter an enemy's space and stop there. It can also move through space and arrows 1 inch. Alright. Climb difficult spaces, including upside down on ceilings, without needing to make an ability check. Okay, so for the most part, that's here. So it's going to, let me think here. The way I've got it is it's going to mostly spend its time moving. Let's see here. So we'll always approach nearest enemy. We'll take liquid form, flow into enemy space, and try to grapple. Let me see here. How does this life leech work? One large or small creature that the slithering tracker can see within 5 feet of it must succeed DC 13 dexterity saving throw or be grappled. Until this grapple ends, the target is restrained and unable to breathe unless it can breathe water. In addition, the grappled target takes 3d10 necrotic damage at the start of each of its turns. Slithering tracker can grapple only one target at a time. Okay. Try to grapple and use its life leech ability. It's pretty much what it will do. Yeah, I think that's the most sensible thing. I think it'll be, because it can do that and then have that damage transfer. I think that's how I want it to behave as the boss of this area, rather than using its slam attack. Like, we know it can slam. It has that ability to do that if we need to fall back on it for any reason. Oh, excuse me. But I think basically because it has to be within melee range anyway to do the slam, it's going to do the life leech first. It's just going to absorb them and try to do that, and because it can reduce its damage, it'll use that as a way to sort of stay alive. I think the slam will only be used if it's a reaction. Like if someone breaks it and tries to get away, it'll use that as a reaction for its attack of opportunity and stuff. So okay, all right. So we got that little bit of minutia taken care of. I needed to do that. So now we need to come up with our enemies here. So this one is going to be a mini boss. Oops, there it is, mini boss. So the way I've been doing it is fodder. Basically, 10 of these guys would make one easy battle, right? 5 of the soldiers would make not an easy battle, a medium battle. Sorry, 10 fodders would make a medium battle. 5 soldiers would make a medium. 2 leaders would make a medium, and 1 mini boss would make a medium. So that way we got some leeway for that hard/boss battle, right? To do the boss and some minions and everything. So let's get ourselves going here. So we need something around 90, so basically 100 experience points for our fodder enemies, you know? So you'd think I would have it memorized. What challenge rating? Challenge range. Yeah, let's try that. There you go. Is it 1 that's up to 100? Or is they one? Okay, that's 200. So we need half. There we go. Yeah, that's it. Our 100 experience. So we need a couple of these guys. We need to figure something out for these things. And if we want to stick with our ooze and monstrosity, like I like the ooze and like the phantom type of motif that we've been doing. That works for me. I like that. So first off, let's go ahead and see. Like we can do aberrations, ooze, and then I think the other one we can add is undead, because that one has some sort of like wispy monster type things. You know, like that's where our ghosts and stuff come from. So let's see what we can find here. So we can't just do a standard gray ooze, which would be perfect. Ooze folk? Oh, that's a fun one. That would be kind of freaky. If we can't find anything else, I might do that. But we do have a sentient gray ooze. How does that end up being different than just a standard gray ooze? I don't think it functionally is different, to be perfectly honest. False appearance, amorphous, corrode metal. Yeah, I think it's functionally exactly the same. I think it's just roleplay. It would be a little different, so no real reason to worry too much about it. Yeah, so there's not a whole lot of options. So let's just go ahead with our standard gray ooze. I mean, we have the reduced threat gray ooze, so I think it makes sense to then, as they get further in the dungeon, facing some more difficult things, that we have our standard gray ooze. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a screenshot here. We can take that up here. Fodder, CR. Oops, CR 1/2. Gray ooze 100 XP. There we go. And then we need to also, let's just come up here. Hey, I'll need to retake my screenshot, but that's okay. There we go. And then let's go back in here. Let's do again the screenshot. Copy that over here. So gray ooze, the baseline here is I'm going to have them behave the same as our reduced threat. Yeah, drop from ceiling, always go for nearest enemy. Not particularly difficult to figure out. There we go. So let's do a couple spaces there. So the gray ooze is perfect for our CR 1/2. So now, let's see here. So if we're going to then do our sort of soldiers, so to speak, our medium difficulty enemies, we need to do, I like these guys to be, takes about 5 of them to fill out a medium battle. So we're looking for about our 200. So that's going to be our CR1 level. R1. So let's see what we can find for that. Let's go ahead and just keep with our same motif here and go for that. So we already did the boneless. It's just great, super creepy. I kind of want to throw something different though, if we can. Let's see. So a specter might be good. Incorporeal movement. Spectre can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. Takes damage if it's inside. Sunlight sensitivity. Life drain. Of a humanoid that has been prevented from passing to the afterlife. Gosh, just that lore is exactly the type of thing I'm looking for. I'm just gonna go ahead and call it right there. We're gonna take the specter. I'm just gonna do it. I want to do it. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. I want to do what I want to do. Let's take the screenshot of it. Copy that. Get up here. Put him right there. And then, so we got to think about behavior here. Spectre. will go for the enemy it perceives as being the strongest or bravest, as though trying to prove that nobody in the party has a chance against it, right? So it's like it always kind of is drawn towards the most powerful one to use its life drain here. Target dies if this effect reduces its hit point to a hit point maximum to 0. So now that's going to be intense there. That's going to be a really scary thing for players to have to think about and deal with. So we're going to go ahead and call this, we'll say, always try to use its life drain without mercy. Boom. It'll do that for sure. This thing has so many damage resistances. So that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. I like that. I know that there are a lot of people that would kind of balk at how powerful that Spectre is with that life drain and those things that can kill players. Like essentially an insta-kill ability there. I think it's totally fair to be nervous and apprehensive about something like that. Probably what I'll do is have in there some sort of potion. It'll end up being like a homebrew type of potion, but because I'm increasing the number of potions with the specters in there, I'll probably have potions that can serve as a potential cure / protective agent against these specters. Like something like a potion of soul anchor or something like that. You know, just make up something that lets it be that anyone who drinks that, like, you know, cannot have their soul removed from their body or something like that, just as a protective agent for that sort of specter thing there. I'll figure something out for it. But I know that as a baseline, when it's like, oh yeah, and if you just get reduced to 0, you're dead. Same as how everyone's always really nervous about the concept of petrification from like a basilisk or whatever, right? Because that's such a permanent thing that it would be nerve-wracking for a lot of players to do that. But I try to not be afraid of that kind of stuff, because this is a game that takes place in a world of magic where there's a million different possibilities that don't have to actually make sense to save or revive someone. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to use it as is, but I'll probably try and provide a few sort of cures to this form of death within the dungeon. Hey, Prince John, how's it going? Good to see you here. So yeah, we'll do that. Let's see what we need to note here. Spectre. Yeah. And that's 200 XP a pop there. Perfect. Okay, so for our next one, so if we want about 2 of these to be a good challenge, then we need them to be worth about 450 experience apiece. So let's see what we got here. That should bring us up to our level 2 challenge rating if I'm... That should be exactly it, right? Yeah. Alright. Ooh, a gelatinous cube. Oh, we could just go with more oozes there. That'd be fun. Glabagool. Just like that name. That's it, an ooze cube. Transparent pseudopod engulf. Not bad. Let's see here. Nothic. Nothics are fun. I mean, just look at that thing. Look at that thing. That big staring eye. Ochre jelly. Ooh, that'd be kind of fun. Just throw something a little different. Looks like a mold of some sort. Yellowish ooze that can slide under doors and through narrow cracks in pursuit of creatures to devour. I like that. I like that. That could be a lot of fun. Let's see what he got for me. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. You can kind of spread the pain out among all the different players. That's a fair way to mitigate it. Um, the hard part I have with that with the Spectre is because the Spectres do the life drain. That's sort of like a grappling approach. It would be weird if the thing was constantly bouncing between others. I kind of like if it's doing something like that, where it's going to grab its like grab its target in its clutches, and it's going to like hold on and just slowly drain and just sort of watch as everyone else is horrified is sort of what it would do. So like the flavor of the enemy makes that one a tougher one, but that is a good way to manage it. Let's see here. Yeah, absolutely. So I do agree with you though, 100%. When you've got groups that are just trying to hack and slash their way through a dungeon, doing things like specters, things that are really take a little bit of thought in how you're going to handle it and what to do if they grapple you and slow you down. That's one of the values of doing those types of enemies, so that you can't just have players going, storming through, and just, hacking and blasting their way through everything. So I think that's I do agree that that's a really good approach to, or a really good reason to use those types of enemies. I do like the ogre jelly. That could be really fun. That'd be kind of a fun one, just because they get multiplies. That'd be really funny. Sentient ochre jelly. So it's basically the same exact thing, only it thinks. Undying soldier. Gosh, that's such a creepy picture. Like, look at that. Look at that right there. Gosh, it's creepy. And his shield too. My goodness. My goodness. Will-o-wisp. I don't know. I don't think the will-o-wisp is quite there. I think I'm gonna just choose a second type of jelly. Might as well, right? Do the gelatinous cube or something like that. I don't know. I like the ochre jelly. I like the idea of a mold that just kind of like seeps its way into the room. I'm gonna go with that one. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take the plunge and go with this guy. All right, so let's put our ochre jelly in here. Ochre jelly. Almost sounds like I'm saying ogre jelly, which seems like it would be just some sort of like. Okay, so ogre jelly, I see ogre jelly as it could be a few things. It could be jelly composed of ogre, which is gross. Or it could be like jelly that's famously made by ogres, and it's like the jelly of your enemy's eyeballs or something like that, and that's also gross. Maybe it's a mix. It's ogre eyes. Like they honor their dead by making a jelly out of it, and it's like they celebrate their death by at their funeral, at the wake, they make weird like ogre bread and spread it with the jelly of the deceased. This is a weird thought process I found myself on. I'm gonna leave it alone now. Alright, let's see. Ogre jelly appears as a yellow mold on the ground or wall. Let's see here. We'll say either attacks the first person to approach for a closer look, or will attack when they turn their backs to leave the room. So we'll make it a little clever. Just make it a little bit clever. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. So CR2, ochre jelly, 450 XP. Boom, there we go. Okay, now we gotta figure out what the mini boss is gonna be here. So this is the third segment here. We did that ooze thing. We did the Durgar Spore Servant. And so I'm not quite ready to do a full-blown Durgar. I really want to save the final boss battle of this dungeon in the last segment to be a contingent of Durgar who come in to capture the players and surprise them that there's some sort of like society alive in this dungeon that was supposedly empty and abandoned. I really want to save that one, so I'm not going to do a Durgar, but we can maybe do something that will offer a little bit of a hint about it. So let's see here. We need to have something that's worth about 900, which I think means we're going to be sticking with a challenge rating 3, because those are at 700, and I think if we go up here, this is going to get... What are we at for this? Yeah, 1100 XP. The only problem with that is, for our hard battles, we're trying to keep those to 1300, so that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for minions. So let's stick with the level or challenge rating of 3. And say Ankylosaurus zombie. Wow, a zombie dinosaur. That would be fun. That would be fun. Oh god, look at this thing. Look at that thing. Too many tentacles. I'm not okay with that. Moving on. Anesthetic, feral salve, flying horror. Gosh, look at that thing. That thing is like a legitimate flying horror. If you saw that coming at you, I wouldn't run. I would poop and just stand still and let it kill me. I would poop my pants and I would just let myself die at that point. I feel like I like to think that I like to think that generally speaking I'm pretty okay under pressure. I mean, what with the kickboxing training, I'm kind of used to being in at least semi-dangerous situations, but if I saw this coming at me, like it doesn't matter how good I can punch something. I wouldn't try to punch that. But I wouldn't try to run away either. I would see that and be like, it's been fun. It's been fun, but I guess this is it. I guess that's the end of it. I mean, my god. That thing's really cool. It's really cool. It doesn't fit, but it's really cool. Grell. No, not quite. That thing is really cool. That thing is really cool looking. That makes me think of, oh, I forget what they call it. But was it Skyward Sword? Zelda, when Link had to learn, whenever he would learn stuff from the skeleton that everyone thought was the the general consensus is that it's like Link from a different timeline or something like that. That's what that one makes me think of. Straight out of Skyrim. Heck yeah. Look at that guy. Ooh, that's actually a really good one. Then you could have it flavored to be like a dwarf. Like a deceased dwarf king. Was it Twilight Princess? I forget which one it was. It was one of those ones that came out in that sort of in the era of the Wii. That I just remember it having motion control, so it could either be Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword. I don't remember which one is which, because aesthetically they both look pretty similar. At least with the graphics they used. So. Transferring into a no, you're almost there. You're combining Link and what's her face, his companion, who was like the Twilight Princess. Crap, what was her name? I keep just wanting to say Fidget, but that was your companion in Dust, Elysian Tale. I don't remember. Millie, yeah, it's something like Midna. That's what it is. Midna, like midnight. It's Midna. That's what it is. We got there. It took a minute, but we got there. But no, you're right. That was Twilight Princess, and that definitely lifted some eyebrows about characters and relations and all that kind of stuff. I do remember that, and I just remember being like, "God, you just can't have a cool badass druid anymore without people calling furry. You just can't do it anymore. It's just not allowed." And so we already did the slithering tracker. Thorn. Oh my gosh, look at that. All right. Vampiric Mist. That would be such a good final boss, or not final boss, but like mini boss, just like the mist. And there's it's just mist. Like, what do you do? What do you do against that? That would be such a good one. And like that fits because we have so many creatures that just do life drain type stuff. That would fit so well. Ooh, I like that one. Remember that game was that Rule 34 out of field day with it? They did. They did. They absolutely did. And it's like it's almost too bad that that was like the legacy of that one because at least for me personally, Twilight Princess was one of my favorite Zelda games. I loved that game. I thought that was a really cool one. I thought there were a lot of really good puzzles in that one. I had a lot of fun with that game. And it always disappoints me that that's the legacy of it. I mean, you know, everyone to each their own. I don't really care on a personal level, but it's just like, man, it was such a cool game. It'd be cool if people remembered it for more. Vampiric Mist is hard to fight at low levels. Exactly. That's why it'd be a great mini boss. It'd be so perfect. And like I say, I think the thing that I like about it is it just sort of encompasses a lot of like the same stuff that the players are already going to be dealing with. I mean, we've already got like 3 or like 2 other enemies that use that life drain thing. So it's like it's a really good capstone on this section of the dungeon because the players will already be trying to figure out how to deal with that. And because it has a lot of the same weaknesses that match up with the specters, it would be a really good way. It's just like a stronger specter in a lot of ways. You know, like if they can figure out how to get like some sort of mimic some sort of sunlight or something to mess with it, I think that would be a really good one for players. As I think it really encompasses what I personally always think a mini boss should be, which is a culmination of what you have learned in the dungeon or the instance or whatever it is so far, right? Like that's what a mini boss is, and then the final boss is like an encompassing of all of the mini bosses, and it just kind of comes to the end of it. Like if we're talking about just mechanics and stuff, so I think I gotta do it. I think I gotta go for it. I think I don't have a choice. I think it's decided for me because that's just so on the nose. It's perfect. Vampiric Mist. I like it. I like it. My players won't like it, but that's fine. Weak roof. That yeah, you could do something like that. Like they're like kind of under a mountain, so that might be kind of a hard sell. But what we could do is have an item that like one of the potions is like bottled sunlight or something like that. You just homebrew a potion that players can use it, and they can like open up the bottle, and rather than being a potion that you drink, it's like you open it up and it acts like a flashbang of sunlight, and it's like got the same magical properties of sunlight or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Like I just yeah, you can come up with creative stuff like that, and it's like I'm trying to be better and better about having at least within a contained segment of a dungeon, so that each segment kind of feels a little different, even though it's all part of the same dungeon. That like different parts feel just a little bit different, right? And so you provide certain types of enemies, and then certain types of tools and clues and all of that kind of stuff that all just sort of play and intermingle to make a really cohesive experience within that segment of the dungeon is sort of the goal. Hey Gabby, how's it going? Good to see you. So I think that'd be really good. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Hopefully you are doing well as well. So let's see here. Vampiric Mist. See, now this one, I like the idea of it. Let's see. It can occupy another creature's space and vice versa. In addition, if air can pass through a space, the mist can pass through it without squeezing. Sort of movement in water. Sunlight forbids. This mist can't enter a residence without an invitation from one of the occupants. I think that'd be kind of a fun thing too. So like they escape and it stops at the door or something, so it's trapped inside a room and it can't leave because it's surrounded by rooms. That'd be kind of an interesting mechanic. I'm gonna actually put that in there. Mist is confined to the room it starts in unless invited through. So we'll do that. And so now the mist. Let's see here. Gains 10 hit points. The target's hit points maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the necrotic damage taken. Oh, that's so brutal. That's so brutal, but I love it. I love it. I think the mist is going to be more likely to travel around because it's just kind of a mist that, like, I always just view it as being sort of like a mist that just sort of like is present. So I think what it's going to do is, especially because it can't grapple, will always hover to the nearest combatant and just leave it like that. So it's like if someone moves out of the square, but then someone else is closer, it'll then bounce over towards that thing, and it just kind of always moves towards it. And if someone stays put inside of its square, so we'll say nearest combatant and occupies its space. I think that's how I want to do that. I think that's perfect. Simple as that. Doesn't need to be a whole lot else. So challenge rating of 3. Vampiric Mist, and that's worth 450 XP. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Perfect. I like that. I like that a lot. All right. So our wandering monsters here. We just need to change what these are. And so if it's going to be medium battle of 900 points, we could do, let's do 4 specters and then we'll say 2 ochre jellies and call it good there. Oops, where is it? There we go. Real simple. Doesn't need to be anything too complicated. It's just there to screw with players. as are most of the things I put in my games. I really feel like such a sadist when I'm writing these things and talking about constantly just trying to mess with my players. All right. Let's see here. So, easy battle. And that's going to be worth 450, right? Yeah, 450 experience points. Well, approximately 450. We could just throw them in with 1 ochre jelly, actually. I wouldn't mind that. It's not a terrible idea. Yeah, let's do that. Ochre jelly. And so let's see here. So if we pull that up here, that's going to be this up here. So yeah, we'll just like have them walk in, and there'll just be like a big splotch of yellow mold on the ground or something like that, and that's what it actually turns into, being the jelly here. So let's see here. As you enter the room, the first thing you notice is that the statue in the center of the room, this is what we're going to do, the center of the room appears to be completely covered in some sort of strange yellow mold. And then now let's put a DM note here. If a player approaches for a closer look, we'll do investigation DC. I want this to be tough, 14, for them to realize that it's like a sentient thing that can attack them. I don't want that to be too obvious and easy. For closer look, investigation DC 14. If they fail, the jelly gets a surprise attack before entering standard combat. If they succeed, simply enter combat. Boom. So just do that right there. That's really all we need for description there. Simple. Not every room needs to be too complicated here, so I need to come up with some sort of lore item here. So let's see here. Oh boy, okay, you got something for me, Gabby. Okay, hold on, let me see what do we got. Let's see. So basically, the crew of the question is, how do you handle a group that has some players that can't be present all the time? Yeah. So when you're describing the situation too, where you can't just easily explain a character leaving, um, usually what we do, what I always do when there's groups that do that, whether I'm a player or a DM, what has always worked best is you just give control of that character to the DM, and they avoid any significant role play situations that they would need to be a part of. Or if there's going to be something like that, you consult with the player beforehand to do that. Otherwise, you just have them not make decisions and just basically be a combatant. And you just run them through combat, and the DM just handles that character. That's how I do it. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can do it, and I think it just kind of comes down to what you and your group are comfortable with. But that's kind of what my approach is always. Is just if someone's not going to be present, it's like, okay, let me see your character sheet, and I'll just run them, and I'll just make sure to not make any big role-playing decisions, and just have them basically be a DMPC. And you just operate the character as that, just do your best to have them be a combatant when they need it. Otherwise, they're just kind of there and have everyone just sort of accept that that's what it's going to be for that session. But it's a tough situation when you have someone who can't consistently play. For sure, that can be a challenge. But that's what my approach would be. If you're not in a situation where they can just like easily be explained away, as to why they're there or why they're not there, I just kind of do that. But I think it depends on how long the absence is going to be, how frequent the absences are going to be, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if it's going to be a super common thing, then maybe you kind of more so have them act as a temporary guest star, right, and have them do that if they're not going to be present all the time. But it's a tough situation. And I think it's just up to each group to try and figure out exactly what's the best balance and the best approach, because I think each group is going to have different ideas and different wants and needs for the game and how to handle that. So just keep the dialogue open with your group, and like I say, worst comes to worst, just have the DM, treat the character as a DMPC. Is what I would do. Let's see here. I gotta come up with some sort of lore item here. So again, I'm trying to have the lore about this dungeon relate to the fact that this was a dwarven thing, and then sort of chaos ensued, and that's sort of how the Duragar came to be. I have an idea. Find a journal. You find a journal lying next to a dwarf-sized skeleton in the corner of the room. The journal begins as just a daily account of various trials and tribulations revolving around work and family. But the final few entries discuss what seems to be descriptions of the first few days of the unhinging. Let's see here. Hey, Special, how's it going? Good to see you here, buddy. Let's see here. First few days of the unhinging. How do I want to describe this? The entries seem to reflect an individual's waning sanity as they eventually resort to sitting down and waiting for death, as their mind has become too clouded to navigate the tunnels, and just sort of demonstrate how everything let's see here, so it doesn't yeah, because like everything's just kind of going insane, and so like this guy is just kind of losing his sanity and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, I'm good. I was just thinking, trying to not lose my train of thought. But everything is good to go here. I'm actually having a really good day personally. Let's see here. So yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so let's go ahead and decorate this room now. So we have used these things. We need to. Oh wait, hold on. Wasn't centered. Cannot have that. Needs to be centered. Ba-doom. Ba-doom. Doom. And then put that right there. Beautiful. And now, okay, here's what I want to do for the statue. We need to go. That's right. We had to put a corpse there, in one of the other rooms. All right, statue. I want to use. Yeah, that can work. Let's do that, and then I want to make the custom color like yellow, right? Because we're putting the ochre jelly, that yellowish jelly on there. So I want something that's like got yellow on it, right? Because that's what the appearance is. So we'll do that. I think that's fun. There we go. So we'll do that. And now we need to grab a skeleton. There we go. That looks like a dwarven skeleton. It's just there in a corner, losing his mind. I wonder if we can find. Yeah, there we go. Wow, that is a massive book. That is a big book. I don't want the book to be 4 feet tall. Yeah, look at how big those books are compared to that skeleton. That's goofy. That's really goofy. I've never noticed that the skeletons have that. That's just that one skeleton. It's just it must be like a gnome skeleton or something. So I'm just gonna undo that and do this skeleton instead. There we go. He's sitting in the corner. That looks a bit better. The books are still massive. Yeah, let's search for our books again though. There we go. Let's see here. There we go. And that's a reasonably sized journal thing. There we go. And we'll put it under his hand there. There we go. There we go. That looks about right. All right, let's get our lights going as always. That is a lot of light there. There. And there. There we go. Beautiful. It's perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean passable. Great. Okay, so we got a whole room done. Yay. And on to the next one. Okay. So we got that going there. Simple room, not a whole lot going on there. And so we had, yeah, this room was going to have a boss battle in it, or it was going to have the key in there, and I think that's great, and that's excellent. Do the doors open? Nope, no opening doors. No opening doors. Just a dungeon that is filled with all kinds of stuff, and no one can get to them. No, the doors do open, and when I'm not being snarky, I recognize that the crew of the question there is on the virtual tabletop that I use these maps with. This map is actually it makes doors interactable, so you can click on them and they'll like act as they're open or closed. So they do indeed open functionally, and it's actually a pretty neat thing. I'm a big fan of it. It drives my players insane because my players are just kind of conceptually used to the idea of being able to see the whole dungeon at all times, and I'm all like, no, screw that. We're gonna add some immersion to this. Let's see. They're getting used to it. They're getting used to it, and they're actually getting better and better about seeing the value of that and enjoying that they can sort of have a lot of surprises because of how it's set up that way. Alright, so the boss battle, we're going to definitely have our Vampiric Mist in here. Which is worth 450 XP. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's worth 700. And so we got to come up with another 600 XP. So we could just throw in a bunch of specters. Oh, that would mess with them so hard. Just do all kinds of specters there. Um, that'd be that'd be probably a little much actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Just like all of them enveloped by something slowly draining their life. Now that would be a TPK pretty quick. Pretty quick. Do I think this game would work in VR? So like, are you asking conceptually would D&D work as a VR thing, or do you mean like the way I'm making the maps now would it work in VR? Because conceptually D&D as a VR, I think if there was someone who designed it well enough to be an immersive experience, sure. I mean, it would sort of just turn into playing an RPG. But I think it could work, and in fact, I know that there's a crew um, that are working on trying to sort of make some mods in Minecraft to turn it into a way for DMs to create an interactive, like it almost turns it into an online LARPing situation game that way. I know they're working on that. I've always thought that it would be even if they found a way to streamline it, for me as a DM, I feel like that would be more work than I'd be willing to put in, because it would require a whole lot of extra level of map making and everything, as opposed to just the top down. You then have to like build an entire building or something like that, and so to me that seems like it'd be more work than it's worth. But you know, like that would work. I feel like that would work kind of like how I'm playing Neverwinter Nights, where it's like people could make their own campaigns using the assets in there. I could see it working in that type of situation, but that's not exactly what I would want to do. So I don't know if it would work like that. So I think it could work. I don't know that I would ever want to do it. But then again, I've been a very slow adopter to the concept of VR in general. I know a lot of people really love it, but it doesn't excite me. Maybe it will as things continue to get better, but for me, VR is kind of just it feels to me like it would be too clunky for me to ever be really into it. It's like, because you are still using controllers and you still have to figure out how to sit down and use joysticks to move, like it feels to me like it would just give me headaches and motion sickness. So yeah, so I don't know. I don't know though. I think if it's done right, anything's possible. But I don't think I'm the guy to do it, I guess is kind of what I'm saying. Okay, what'd you have for me? Prince John. Because I thought that's funny. That's funny, John. I think that I've had that happen before on both sides, whereas the DM players did that and they were just like panicked about everything, and I've also been on the other side of it where I was a player and we like faced what we didn't realize was the boss, and we're like, why is this so hard? Oh my god, we're all gonna die. We should go and level up. And like the DM had to step in and be like, no. Like you guys are like, okay, pulling back the curtain just a bit. You guys are kind of facing the boss right now. We're like, oh, well, okay. Well, we'll try and power through this, and then we'll just kind of mop up everything else for the XP. So that's funny though. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do for this one, just because of I don't want everything to be enveloped in some sort of spectral thing that will slowly drain all of them. That seems like a really good way to accidentally invoke a TPK. I don't know why I wrote 450 here. I just noticed that I did that, and that's wrong. That's 700 experience points. So instead, since we need 600 experience points still, we're just going to toss in 6 of the gray oozes. Gray ooze at 100 XP a piece. That will still be a very challenging thing for them to deal with, but that way it's different kinds of challenging, and they can figure out how to deal with all that. Okay, so let's see here. So we'll say, walking into this room, you notice a strange humidity about it. The mist, let's see, here's what I'm going to do. The mist that fills the room immediately, wow, I really butchered that one, immediately makes you feel a little more tired and worn out. But as you walk into the room, the mist begins to move, collecting in one spot, to form a thick cloud of mist. The cloud glows with a red energy and gives you a strong feeling of foreboding. That's how do you? I don't even know if I'm coming close for foreboding. I was close. Okay. Strong feeling. I don't like the use of that there. That doesn't flow. Strong feeling of dread, we'll say. Let's see here. As the mist begins to float towards your party, you can see the gray ooze. We'll just say you can see gray ooze beginning to fill the room from all walls through the various cracks in the stone. Boom, there we go. Boss fight. Boss battle. That'll work really well. And I don't think there's anything specific that we need to plan out as far as DM notes, honestly. It's pretty straightforward. There's a mist and there's a bunch of ooze. Ready, go. And now I gotta fight him. Let's see. Okay, so reward. Here's what we'll do. Scattered all around this room are various satchels and pouches, as well as a dozen or so skeletons. Within the pouches, you find substantial amounts of gold and wealth, as well as a few copies of a single key. This key fits the same design patterns as the other two you've found so far. So it's like people came in here looking for the keys that they needed to try and escape from this area themselves, or try to move through this area, and it just they didn't make it because the Vampiric Mist was just sitting in here, and it just was like, oh, sweet meal, and just sucked the life out of them. All right, let's see. We need to just come up with their loot pile here. So let's get ourselves a nice loot thing generated here. So 215 gold. I think that seems about right. 215 gold pieces. We'll go ahead and get all of that artwork. He gave them a lot of magical items here, but it's all potions. It's all potions of climbing, apparently. This is weird. Okay, hold on. Let's just copy these ones first. Here, paste that. Let's get rid of that stuff, and then let's see. Can we link? Remove link for all of them. There we go. And then I'm just gonna move because I prefer it this way. We're gonna say 2 gold lockets, silver. I actually think it makes a whole lot of sense for there to be these various like masks and valuables, because it's things that people would have collected from home as they were trying to flee during the unhinging. We'll go ahead and do the why not? We'll just do the potions of climbing. There's 3 of them. not exactly thematic to this dungeon, but that's okay because there's other rooms that are specifically as a reward. You see in here even there's gonna be potions, and those will be the ones where I'll do the more specifically flavored ones. This is more so just to be like, especially because we're just describing random valuables that people grabbed from home while they were trying to flee the unhinging and all that. So, oh boy, that coffee is stone cold at this point in time. That's great. Oh boy. Alright, I don't know where Mickey Mouse came from there. That was weird. Anyway, what are these spell scrolls? Animal Friendship. Mind Sliver. Ooh, that's kind of a fun one. You don't hear about that one all that much. Definitely don't hear about that one all that much. Yeah, why not, right? Spell Scroll of Mind Sliver and Spell Scroll of Animal Friendship. Why not? Let's do it. Let's throw those in there. Who cares? Spell Scroll Mind Sliver. Mind Sliver, and we'll do Cantrip just to make sure we remember the level of it. And Spell Scroll Animal Friendship. And that was first level. Boom, there we go. Alright, let's go ahead and decorate this room. This will be kind of a fun one, actually, because we're going to put a bunch of skeletons everywhere. I love putting corpses in places. Please don't take that out of context. Okay. Incriminating things to say for 500, please. Alright, get all of our torches. Man, no wonder the Vampiric Mist was able to feast so well in this room. Look at all the doors that lead into it for people to accidentally get turned around and go through. Oh boy. All right. Yep, that works. We gotta find a statue here though. Well, you know what? We're already here with our skeletons. Let's go ahead and put some skeletons around here. A little shackled there, so it's kind of weird, but do that one. Put one right there. There we go. We'll put the little teeny skeleton there. That guy looks like he's dancing. Haha! And right there. Put one right. I don't know, right there. What are we at now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 skeletons. Oh, they were holding hands. No, I'm not gonna do that. There we go. It's 6. That's 7. Right? Yeah. Yeah, 7. Yeah, why not? We'll give one of them armor. 8. Oh, that one's missing a head. I like that. 9. Throw this guy in the corner. 10. I kind of want to do just like some really desiccated and destroyed ones. 11. I'll just make a big pile of corpses. Why they were all standing right there, who knows? But there we go. Okay, there's lots of skeletons. That's perfect. All right, let's put a statue in here. So many statues. I don't think we've used that gargoyle, have I? Oops, no. Let me go to used. Oh, I have used that gargoyle. Oh, boy. I think I've actually used, like, pretty much... Have I used that one? I don't think I used that one, did I? No, that one is not in the used pile. Alright, great. So we'll put that one just, like, right there. Great. Alright, so there's all of that, and then let's grab our lights. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful, beautiful. I like it. It's a good boss battle room. That's nice and ominous, right? Right, with all the skeletons lying around. That's like, I mean, what else do you really want out of a out of a boss dungeon room. You know, just skeletons lying all over. Evidence of dozens having perished, whether intentional or not. All right, next room. Moving on. All right. So we need to come up with another easy batlay. All right, so this one, so it's got to be 450 experience points, but I think it's gonna be. Let's see here. 450. We'll make this one. Let's make this one just 400 experience points. And we'll just do 2 of the specters. Yeah, I think that'll be good. There I am. And then 2 specters. And those are worth 200 XP a pop. Pew, there we go. Great. Alright, so let's see here. Entering this room gives you a strong case of the chills. Floating around, you see 2 spectral forms. At first, you are unsure if they have seen you, but your answer comes swiftly, not swiftly, soon, as they begin to take a more humanoid shape and drift towards you. Boom, there we go, specters. We got potions here, so now this is going to be a good one. Oops, where's it? Potions. Alright, so let's see here. I just want to look and see. Yeah, see, they've got sunlight sensitivity. Sunlight hypersensitivity. Yeah, I'm going to do... Okay, here's what we're going to do. Potions. 3. Let's see here. Let's say... Let's see. We'll say scattered around room are various... Oh, no, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to dip into that well too much of just there being random stuff. Let's just say lying at the foot of the statue in this room is a pack. Strangely, there is no skeleton to suggest that someone died while carrying it. Instead, it seems to have been set down and then forgotten about. As you look inside, you find various bits of clothing and personal effects, but there is also a small case with a few bottles inside. All of the labels are written in Dwarven. Based on the labels, the following potions are inside. We'll say 3x potion of healing, and then 2 potion of bottled sun, and that's just going to be a homebrew thing. We'll say when the contents are spilled on the floor, the room, we'll say, the room or a 50 50-foot radius, if it's like outside or something, fills with magical sunlight. This sunlight has all of the properties of actual sunlight. The light, so magical sunlight that emanates, how do you spell that word? Emanates, okay, there it is. Emanates from the resulting puddle. Boom, there we go. This is a puddle of sunlight. The light lasts, we'll say, 10 minutes until the puddle is evaporated. Let's see here. Fun, right? Sunlight has, what did I do? Oh, yeah, sunlight has. Boom, there we go. Thank you. Good catch. All right. There we go. That'll give them some potions, and that'll be something that can be a tool that they can use against the mist and the jelly. Although I'm wondering, let me see here. It takes 10 radiant damage, and it only has 30. So so here's what I want to do then. That is going to be super overpowered. It's going to kill it immediately. So I gotta limit that a little bit. So we'll just say the sunlight lasts for, let's see here, fills with we'll say with a flash of magical sunlight that emanates from the resulting puddle. Lasts for 1 turn as the liquid vanishes almost immediately. There we go. Perfect. We'll do that. So it's just like 1 turn. So it's like 1 turn. It's like I say, it's like a magical sunlight flashbang or something like that. It's perfect. It's perfect. I actually really like the idea of doing that item. And that way that can be something they use against the mist or against the specters. But yeah, I don't want, you know, looking back on it, I really don't want those to have, want that to be too overpowered. That 10, that 10 minutes would be pretty overpowered in this situation. Are potions in glass vials? I mean, as a standard, they don't have to be. A potion can be in any vessel. I always figure a potion would be just, you know, it's just a liquid that you can put in any sort of closed sealed container. I would assume that these ones, the liquid sun, because of the nature of it, like I was kind of like, I'm kind of envisioning it being some sort of like glow stick type of thing, where it's like it when it's in the glass thing, it's not activated, and then when it's exposed to air, it gets activated. Like oh shoot, which element is it that when it's in its pure form, and it's and when it's exposed to air, exposed to water, it goes kabloomers. I don't remember which one it is, where it's like completely innocuous, like as just a dry substance in air, but then as soon as you drop it in water, it just like it like spontaneously combusts. It's like that kind of thing. It's kind of how I imagine it. Also, it's magic, and it can be whatever the hell we want. That's the beauty of D&D. So, so that's kind of, so yeah, we'll do that. I think that's perfect. Magnesium, that might be the one. I don't remember which one I'm thinking of. It's been a minute since I was in any sort of chemistry class. Used to be better at that kind of stuff, but you know, we retain what we use. I don't use that all that much. At least not that specific part of chemistry. My job actually requires a lot of chemistry, and that stuff I'm pretty sharp on, but it does not include throwing combustible things in water. In fact, my job is more so about avoiding anything even close to that whenever possible. Okay, let's see. Let's get a statue here. Is that a fish statue? Great. Alright, let's go ahead and just grab our gray there for it. So mostly I want to keep that motif there. Right there. Boom. Perfect. And then we just need to do a pouch. I'm pretty sure we've used plenty of pouches. Let's put that at the foot of the statue there. Just like that. That's perfect. Alright, and then get our light going. There, and there. Perfect. The dry ice bomb in chem class. No, oh yeah, no, we did. I remember that. We did the thing where you put like a trash can over the top of it, and then it goes boomers, and everyone has to be standing far away so you don't get hit on the head with a trash can. Yeah. So yeah, we totally did that. Oh, those are good times. Potassium is most valuable. Okay, but most volatile in water. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe that was the one I was thinking of. I don't know. It's pretty inconsequential. It's just sort of as a comparison to the effect of chucking a potion on the ground and it's like exposed to air, and that's what caused it to explode. I don't know. It's a fictional magical substance. I don't pretend to know how the chemistry of it would work. It's just an idea that serves a purpose. Alright, yeah, this is the most boring room that could have been created. Safe and empty. Safe. Oops, no, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. As you enter this room, it is almost suspiciously quiet and empty. As you search, as you look around, you can confirm that there is nothing dangerous in here at present. We'll just do that just to mess with them. And then empty. Wait, hold up. There we go. Wowie. I'm struggling here. What is happening? Why is it being weird? Okay, fine, whatever. You just do the nice long dash. I don't care. I don't care, OneNote. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. Here's what I want to do. Let's do a DM note. Let them. Oh, it's crossing it out. That's what I did. We needed to not do that. There it is. That's what I'm looking for there. Okay. Let them search as long as they like. They will find nothing. Boom. There we go. Let's see here. So your KT's put on. Okay, yeah. So just doing putting it in doing a smaller amount in the sink and stuff. Yeah. Either way, as long as there's an explosion, that's the important part, really. That's the important part. I had a chemistry teacher put a bit of pure hydrogen in a balloon in the sink, and then light that on fire. That was a fun one. That was a really good one. We also did the ones where the teachers would put the chemical in the bottle, and you would think the bottle would explode, but because the neck was there, letting only certain amounts of air in for the combustion, like it would be a controlled burn that like did the little ring that moved down the bottle. Yeah, we had that one. We had that one once or twice at my school too. It's all good stuff. All good stuff, man. All right, a nice safe room just to screw with my players. Gosh, it's so funny. I know that like this room will probably cause them the most anguish out of any room in this dungeon, exactly because there's nothing in it, right? I don't have to put a single dadgum thing. These players are just so paranoid. They're so paranoid that they'll be like, there has to be something here. There can't be nothing here. There has to be something here. And it's like, nope. There is not a single doggone thing. Okay, hold on. I gotta look at what ones I've used here. We used all the horses. Have we used any of these, like, sitting down? Yeah, we used that line. Okay, we did use that one. So we used that one. Have I used that one? I think I've used that one. Yeah, we use that one. I can't reuse anything. We use the horses. I know I've used that one. I know I used the fish. I know you've used that one. I don't think I've used that one. I don't think I've used the animal stone 4. Yeah, so we used that one. But I don't see. Okay, I think this one is still. Or wait, no, where was it? This one right here. I think this one's still fair game. Okay. There we go. Took some doing to figure that one out, but we got there. We got a room with no torches. Not in this dungeon. I mean, that's definitely a tech that we can use, but that would actually be a really good one to add some suspicion to players too. That'd be really funny. But no, all of them in this one are gonna have torches because I want all of the rooms to basically look exactly the same. Because thematically, this dungeon is meant to be a protective barrier stopping people from being able to make it to the Dwarven City, right? Because the Dwarven City, this was their defense. This was part of their defense system, having this really confusing place that unless you already knew how to get through these tunnels safely, it'd be very easy for you to get locked or lost in there, and then the dwarves could either come collect you or just let you die in the tunnels, depending on how they felt about you. So I want all of these rooms to look exactly the same. That's largely the purpose. So all of them are going to be pretty monotonous, pretty shamelessly. Okay, let's see. Oops, no, we need this one. All right, let's see here. What's our time? No, you know what? I don't know if I have enough room to plan out a battle and think of a lore item. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and call it a stream here. I know that's a little sudden, but I'm gonna do that so that way I can take a break, refresh my beverage. I can feel my throat getting a little dry and scritched up because I'm running out of fluids to drink here. So, yeah, I think we'll do that. But that's really good progress. We're definitely halfway through this section of the dungeon. I mean, not in terms of the number of rooms, right? We've got 6 more rooms rather than just 5, but we also got all of our baseline sort of introductory stuff that we needed to get done. So, sweet. Now that's really good progress. I like that. I'm content with that. Sweet. Great. So yeah, so what's gonna happen? As always, I'm gonna take a bit of a break, like a 15-20 minute break, rest my voice just a little bit, refresh my beverages for myself, and after said break, I will be back to do a little bit of video gaming. We're still working our way through Neverwinter Nights. It seemed last time that I'm actually starting to finally make some progress through the primary missions for that one, so we're gonna keep plugging away at that one. But yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen here. So thank you to everyone who stopped by. Appreciate you guys. If you would like to keep hanging out while I'm playing some games, like I say, check back in about 15-20 minutes. Otherwise, thank you for stopping by. Next week, I am going to stream. I'm planning on streaming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. That's the plan. It is a holiday week for me, so that could change at the drop of a hat. And I, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I do have a lot of family stuff going on next week because of the holiday. So if things change, things change. But as of right now, I am planning on streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, and then nothing Thursday and Friday because I will be out of town visiting family. So look forward to that. Writing, it'll be the same times as I conventionally do. Writing at 11:30 Eastern, gaming at 1:30 Eastern. So check me out at those times if you are interested. I also do have my Discord. It's a good place if you've got your own sort of homebrew ideas and stuff that you want to talk about and want to discuss all that kind of stuff. That's a really good place to do it. And then I also have my YouTube channel where you can check out all the VODs of all of the other stuff that I've done up till this point. But yeah, I think that covers it all. So I'm going to take my break. We'll be back, like I say, 15-20 minutes or so. And we'll do some gaming and ride ourselves into the weekend with some nice, chill Neverwinter Nights. So, yeah, again, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are cool people. Glad to have you here. And I will see you shortly. Take care of yourselves until then. And, yeah, I'll be back. So, sit tight.